Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. This is the very first video of our YouTube channel where I will discuss about the demographic transition theory of population geography. So let's start today's video. Before I begin the theory, let's understand what is demography. So demography is the study of human population. Basically, when we study the human population by statistical data like birth rate, death rates, income rates, etc. scientifically, then it will be considered as demography. Demography helps us understanding a particular country or region, socio-economical background, characteristics, etc. So, in short, we can say that demography is the population composition of human population. Now, let's start the demographic transition theory. The demographic transition theory is very important theory of population geography, and this has been given by various demographers. From them, Warren Simpson Thompson or W.S. Thompson and Frank Wallace Nottstein or F.W. Nottstein's 3 stages model is very famous. Without that, C.P. Blaker gave 5 stages model and Carl Sachs gave 4 stages model of demographic transition theory. Now, let's discuss about the different stages of the demographic transition theory. There are total 5 stages of demographic transition theory, and we will discuss about all of them each one by one. So let's start with the first stage of the demographic transition theory, which is called the high stationary stage. What we see in this stage is high birth rate and high death rate. The reasons behind of high birth rate is that the backwardness of the society. Most people belong from the rural areas where the main occupation is agriculture. No development of the tertiary or industrial sectors. Very small good industries are found there. People believe in large families, superstitious beliefs, then not applying any family planning methods. Children are taken as considered as assets. This leads to the high birth rates and low family income. Similarly, high death rate, because the resources are not enough for this large population. So that's why malnutrition occurs, lack of nutritious food is there. So that's why death rate is also very high. So high birth rate and high death rate leads to zero population growth rate. And this is the first stage of the demographic transition theory. Now, let's talk about the second stage of the demographic transition theory, which is called the early expanding stage. What we see in this stage is high birth rate and low death rate. High birth rate is due to the reason just I said, and low death rate because in this stage the medical sector starts developing as well as the tertiary sector. Because of the development of the medical sector, the death rate declines, but the birth rate is still high. So that's why in this stage the population explosion happens. Now let's talk about the third stage of the theory, which is the late expanding stage. What we see in this stage is declining in birth rate and more declining in death rate. From this third stage, birth rate starts declining. People starts understanding the advantages of small family. They start applying the family planning methods, etc., which leads to the declining in birth rate. And this is called the late expanding stage of the demographic transition theory. Then the fourth stage is called the lower stationary stage. Here, the birth rate, declining of the birth rate is equal to the death rate. Birth rate and death rate is equal to each other. Here we see the population momentum occurs. The standard of living of people increases, income increases. This stage is mostly seen in the developed countries of the world. And now finally the fifth stage or the declining stage of the demographic transition theory, where we see death rate exceeds the birth rate, means death rate is more than birth rate. This results in negative population growth rate. It is very rare, and this is seen in very developed countries like Japan, Germany in our world. So these are the 5 stages of the demographic transition theory. Here you can see a graphical representation of the theory where the 4 stages are explained. The x-axis says time and the y-axis explains the birth rate or death rate per thousand population. You can see here with the green line the birth rate and the red line is the death rate. So you can see that with the green line it starts declining after the 3rd stage and the death rate starts declining earlier than the birth rate. This is the graphical representation of the various countries. The first stage we see countries like Sudan, Congo, Ghana, etc. Second stage belong from Rhodesia, Somalia, in the continent of Africa. Like the third stage, we see the developing countries of our world like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Kenya, etc. In the fourth stage, the developed countries of our world, Australia, New Zealand, Egypt, and the fifth stage and the very rare stage, which is Germany, Japan, etc. Now, let's talk about the applicability of the theory. So, the demographic transition theory is a generalization, specifically not a theory. And this theory is mostly applicable in the developing countries of the world, like in the African continent, countries like Somalia, Ghana, etc. We still see the first stage there. And in the most developing countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, etc., the third or the second stage is continuing. And India is in the third stage, which is the less expanding stage. So that was it for today's video. If you liked it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, hit the share button, and thank you so much. Keep supporting. We will be back with another video very soon. Thank you.